How's she going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop in part 2 of building our vertical sliding storage cabinet over there in the corner by the workbench. Well, I spent some time putting some cleats on the wall here to hold what's going to be the top shelf. And I want that top shelf to set inside of the partition in the wall. So in other words, like when it goes on there, it'll be flush with the top here. I've got the two outside ones on. I need to put one on this partition, but I want to put the front one on here right now. So I cut this one already to set in here. I'm going to put this fella in here first, flush with the top. I have a little spacer here, 3/4 of an inch, but I want that to be down from the top. Okay, something like that. And we'll put this last screw in over here. And now just to check that, if I put my 3/4 inch spacer on there, put my level on here, now I got. Well, it's hard to see, but I've got a perimeter now of a ledger put around the opening at the top. So now I want to cut a piece of 3/4 inch plywood to put in the top of that. So the plywood that I have for the top here, it's a tail end of a piece, and I want to make sure I cut it right because I don't have any more to mess with, right? So anyhow, the piece I need to put on the top of that cubby we just built is 26 3/4 wide, or deep, I guess. This is the deep side. But because the corner of the building is not right square, this back corner, which is going to go in the corner of the building, I can't make that square. But this corner is square and this corner is square because we just built those and I made sure they were. So I've got my fence set here at 26 3/4. I'm going to run this through and cut that, and then I've marked here the other line to make the cut to fit into the corner, I hope, properly. And we'll see if we can make that fit. We're cutting a big panel, putting it against the fence. That's not an ideal way to use a table saw, but I think it's going to be all right. This piece is big enough I can, or not so big that I can't manage it. Now this cut here is going to go against the wall. I'm going to freehand that one. We'll see how that goes. Okay, here we go. This is the first fit, right? So you're seeing it as I'm seeing it. Fits pretty good. Now, the idea is to find these exact spacings on the top here so I can put the top sliders in. Oh, that's going to be a good fun, eh? I've never installed these vertical drawers before, but what I'm thinking is, I think it's going to be imperative that this bottom slider and the top slider are parallel. The way the slider is mounted on the bottom is going to be my reference point. So now I've made these two spacers that I have against the wall here. So now I've got my top piece that the slider is going to go on. And I'm going to put this up here, and I'm going to screw that in, and hopefully it'll make the two sliders parallel. Now I have to get this slider mounted up here, and as long as that slider is an equal distance from the edge of that strip, then they should be parallel. So in order to locate where the top sliders should go, I want them to be directly above the lower sliders. So I put a couple of marks here, one there, one there, one there, and one right up here. And the way I found those marks was I used a plumb bob. Can you imagine? Plumb bobs. I can't remember the last time I used a plumb bob. But anyway, what I did was I held the plumb bob up here, that mark, until the point of the plumb bob was in the middle of the bottom support. So then I made a mark right there. So when I measure over from the side to that mark and the side to that mark, and the same here, it ends up there dead on. So the plumb bob worked. So that's where I'm going to drill some holes and then cut some supports there and then screw them on to the top in preparation for mounting the top sliders. So I'm getting ready to put my top pieces in to hold the sliders. So I've marked the top of the cabinet here where they're supposed to be located. I also put some glue along the glue edge of it because I want to glue them in place. And I had to make a little step cut here to fit around the back part. So anyways, we're ready to try this. I also, in order to hold that in place, I made a little dead man stilt here to hold it, or help hold it. I hope it works. So we're going to set that in here, line it up on my mark, and then we'll wedge this in place. So we're going to climb up here on the bench, put some screws in that. Okay, wish me luck. We'll check our work. That worked good. I think that's going to be good. All right, so I'm going to set up and do the other one, and then we'll come back and have a look, see what the result is. So I've got the sliders mounted at the top. Now I'm going to tell you that was not an easy job. But anyways, they're up there. And as far as I know, they're lined up vertically. Okay, we're out here in the shop today with this daunting task. I have to cut up my brand new sheet of 3/4 inch spruce exterior grade plywood. I hope I don't cut it wrong. I need to get 3 panels, the back panels for my vertical drawers. So my thought is that the drawers are going to be 27 inches deep, 37 inches high. So I measured 37 inches from the side. I think I'm going to rip the end off it here, then I can use this end for, I don't know, something else. But then from the piece that's left over, I should be able to get 3 back panels for the vertical drawers with minimum amount of waste. So I've got my saw set up, got my fence set up here. My straight edge is not 8 feet long, so I'm going to cut it in 2 pieces. But we're going to have a go here and see how we make out. Before I get too carried away, just want to measure that, 37, that's good. I hope it continues like this. Okay, that's about as far as I can go there. Reposition my sawhorse. Yeah. And I have to change my straight edge now. And we'll continue. That's part 1 of it done. So the panel I want to cut off the end is 27 inches. So we'll just check this, 27 to there, and then 5 1/8 is the thickness of the shoe on the saw. So that's 32 1/8. And 32 1/8. And I managed to get my short straight edge to work this morning. So we're going to try and cut this off and see what kind of a mess we can make. Confirm that once more. 27 is cool. All right. Okay, before we go any further, I'm just going to test fit this piece in the cutout. So that's going to fit in there. Not bad. I think that'll work, eh? So I'm going to cut 2 more, and then we have to figure out how to attach the sliders to them. Oh baby, it just gets complicateder and complicateder. So I'm trying to get my vertical backer board here, trying to figure out a way I can secure it on those runners so that it won't jam. So I want to just try and show you this. Apologize for the lighting. First of all, I put a 1/4 inch spacer on the bottom here, so I want to keep that up off the deck by 1/4 inch, so that'll do good there. And then over here I pull the slider out and face it right on the edge of the plywood. I did the same thing up here at the top. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to start and put a screw in right here to hold it. I'll do the same to the top and then slide it out and do the next one, slide it out and do the next one. I think I'll be able to get the standards mounted and keep them good and parallel if I do it that way, so that the backer will slide back and forth good. I might be able to do the same thing with this center one, but this one right next to the wall, well now, I don't know how I'm going to do that one. But anyway, it's going to be hard to video in here because there's not a lot of room. So I'm going to just set the camera up and you can watch me fiddle with this and see how I make out. And I'm using 5/8 screws, pan head. I hope they work. If they don't, we'll try something else. Alright, so now I've got that screwed in there, and that's just the edge of that slider is just, you can just feel it on the front of the plywood. So see if we can set this up the same way. Alright, so now I don't need the clamp anymore. So now we slide it out to the next one. Call me lazy, but I'm going to use the gun here to put the screws in. There we go, that's what it's going to end up looking like eventually. Alright, I'm going to continue to put this all together. It's not much to see. I'll come back and show you the results though. Well, getting the drawer slides on the vertical back planes of these drawers, that's turned out to be a real bear to try to get them to line up with the two sliders. The first one went in, well, I thought went in really, really well. The middle one, I struggled with that one for a long time before I got it to work halfway decent. But the one up against the wall, I just don't know how I'm going to get that to line up correctly. So I worked on a lot of different ideas, but then I finally came up with this idea. This is the slider that'll go on the back, like the moving part of the drawer. So what I did was I just put a couple of bolts through here on the couple of the mounting holes, right? And what I plan on doing, I did this on the bottom rail and the top rail. What I'm planning on doing is setting this back in to the rail that's mounted to the wall, and then put the backer plate in there, space it off the bottom of the deck of the opening, and then just tap it with the hammer to make these marks. And then once I get those marks located, then I can mount these rails and then put the extra screws in them if they fit okay. But what I found with the middle one was, I thought I had the screws lined up good, and I screwed them all in good and tight, but then the spacing wasn't right, and I couldn't even get the drawer to go back in place. So I had to do a lot of stick handling there to get that set up. So anyway, I'm going to set up and try this, and we'll see how we make out. Also, if you notice, I got a big band-aid here on my finger. Yesterday when I was fighting with that middle drawer, it slipped on me and it jammed my finger between the backer plate and the slider that's at the bottom of the cabinet. Boop. Put a hole in the end of my finger. The next thing you know, I was leaking. But I'm okay now. I think I'm going to make it. So this slide just goes in here, like so. Now I'm going to push those all the way in as far as they go. Get my backer here. By the way, I took the middle drawer out just to give me some more room to work in here. Key is to get this lined up just right. I think that'll do it. Okay, let's see if I made some marks. I did make some marks, so I'm going to put these over on the sawhorses and put the rails on them now. Okay, so here's my mark right there and there. This is the bottom one. So that hole and that hole line up. Alright, now I'm only going to put 2 screws in to try it. So I'll do the same with that one up there, and then we'll go and try and put the drawer back in place. Alright, let's try to fit this in. Sorry you can't see much, but there's a lot of room back here. Not bad, eh? I like that. That worked good. So I'm going to take this out and finish putting the rest of the screws in that rail, put the middle one back in, and then what we can do is we can start deciding what I'm going to put in here, right? That's another big thing, another big job. So I just wanted to show how it looks at the end. So there's 1, 2, 3, so as far as building this vertical sliding drawer cabinet, I think the construction part is done. The only thing left now is to organize what I'm going to put in there and get it put in there, then I'll put a front on it. But that's later on down the road. I think that's going to make good use of that corner. Worked out good. It was a big project, but I'm glad it's done. I'm glad I have it. I don't know if I'd do it again, but anyways, it's there. Thanks for watching, folks. Let me know in the comments, please, what you think about my cubby. Don't forget, thumbs up me, and we'll talk to you soon.